Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about recent conflict that has risen in the Israel due to the attack of Hamas on the Israeli territory. And in this context, we are going to discuss about what is the role that Hezbollah can play, and also if we talk about that what is the possibility of third Intifada, or what we can say is the third uprising of Palestinians against the Israel. So first of all, let us try to understand the context in which we are discussing today's issue. So just a day before yesterday, in the morning of Saturday, Palestinian militant group that is known by the name of Hamas, it has launched a devastating attack on Israel that has led to death of at least 300 people. And as the time passes, it is expected that the death toll will keep on rising as more and more bodies are recovered, and also the number of wounded people as well as the number of people who has been kidnapped and abducted and been taken to Gaza from Israel, the number is also expected to rise. So if we talk about the area that is known as Gaza Strip, we are going to discuss that on the map as well. That is situated on the coastal regions of Mediterranean Sea, from where the Hamas fighters are believed to have crossed over to the bordering Israel region, and around 200 people have died directly. Now, the attack is being seen as the biggest exchange of fire that has taken place between the two parties over a decade. And Israel has now declared a war. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, he has said that from now on, Israel is in a state of war. There is no such military operation, but we are in the state of war. And this has raised global concern for an already volatile region. If we talk about the entire region of Middle East, has been known for periodic conflicts and war that has occupied this region since at least 1947 in the modern history. So it is believed that again there is a fresh concern for again hostility to increase in this area that has been beset by decades of regional, sectarian and communal rivalries and intervention from foreign powers. This region has also seen from time to time. So let us first try to understand on the map that where all these territories are situated, where the conflict is currently going on. So if you look at the map, this is the map of Israel. There we have Mediterranean Sea, and if you talk about the state if you talk about the state of Israel, it has a border with Lebanon in the north, Syria in the northeast, and Jordan in the east. And then on the western side, it is surrounded by Egypt. And on the southern side, it has a narrow outlet toward the Red Sea. Now, within the state of Israel, we have two territories that is controlled, or that is where the number of Palestinian people are very high. One is the West Bank, and other reason is the Gaza Strip. So if we talk about the current situation, it is from this coastal Gaza Strip the Hamas soldiers have attacked and entered into the Israeli territory of what we can call as the southwestern region. Now, since in this video we are going to talk about the Hezbollah as well, so Hezbollah has its largest base in the Lebanon. Now, let us try to understand about Hezbollah and what role it can play in the ongoing conflict. So, first of all, it is believed by many international relations experts that a major factor in this conflict could be the presence of Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, that is largely composed of Shiite followers of Shiite Islam. Now, it also has said in the recent statement that it has begun firing at Israeli positions in the disputed Chiba farms. Now, Chiba farms is a region that you will see is situated on the northern border of Israel. If you remember the map just which I have shown before, it is the Lebanon which is situated on the northern part of the Israel. So around there we have this disputed region of Chiba farm, and it is also located along another disputed border that is to the east of Israel, where we have Israeli occupied Golan Heights in Syria, and large number of rockets and shells have been fired by the Hezbollah group. And it also has declared its solidarity with the Palestinian resistance, and so has the Islamic Republic of Iran. So let us try to understand that what exactly is this group Hezbollah all about, what is its ideology, what its goals, aims and objectives. So first, if we try to understand the origin and development of this group Hezbollah, Hezbollah basically is an Arabic word which can be translated into the party of God. That means Hizb plus Allah. So we have party of God, and it is a Shiite Islamic militant organization, as we have discussed, largely based in Lebanon. Now, as per the study that is conducted by a well-known what we can say is organization that is Center for Strategic and International Studies. It has defined Hezbollah as the world's most heavily armed non-state actors. When we talk about world's most heavily armed, we are talking about large and diverse stockpile of unguided artillery rockets as well as ballistic, anti-air, anti-tank and anti-ship missiles. So these are the kind of weapon that you will not expect to be possessed by some terrorist organization or by some non-state organization. These are largely weapons which generally a state has control over. So that is why it is believed that most heavily armed world's non-state actors, and obviously it is believed that most of these weapons stockpile that Hezbollah has control over is supplied directly and indirectly by the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, if we try to understand the origin of this particular group, it was during the civil war of Lebanon that lasted for 15 years between 1975 to 1990. There was a long simmering or a very long simmering discontent over the large armed Palestinian presence in the country, and Lebanon was under a French mandate until 1943. If we try to go back slightly more in the history of Lebanon, it was a French mandate until 1943, and after it ended, power was divided into various religious groups. Like, for example, there was a rule or law, or generally we can say convention in Lebanon, that if prime minister is belonging from a particular religious group, then the president will belong to the other religious group. So that is how the power was divided. And due to this, there was a very long, what we can say, large scale sectarian conflict and divide that was simmering in Lebanon for a long period of time. Now, after Lebanon became an independent state, once the French mandate ended here, 1948 onwards, three specific characteristics that we are seeing in the Lebanon. The first was that was tense ethnic and religious divisions, as we have discussed, between Shiite followers of Shiite Islam, Sunni Islam. Then we also have Druze, we have Christians, and at the same time, once Israel began to like what we can say develop into a separate nation, there are a lot of Palestinian refugees that start to flee Israel, flee their homeland, and started to arrive in the Lebanon. And also creation of Israel is happening as a state for Jewish people. So three things are there, three very important events are there that began after 1948, and thus between 1978, in the 1978 we can say, and again in 1982, Israeli forces invaded the southern Lebanon to expel the Palestinian guerrilla fighters, because the Palestinian people who are fleeing from Israel to Lebanon, in those group of people, Israeli forces claim there are a lot of guerrilla fighters as well who are continuously waging a war against the state of Israel. At the same time, in 1979, as we know, there has been a large-scale revolution in the Iran, and there is a formation of theocratic Islamic government in Iran. Now, due to all these events that are somehow related with each other, that is happening at in a regular periodic interval, it is these scenarios that has led to the formation of Hezbollah. Again, if we try to understand the geography of this region, here we have Iran, we have Iraq, we have Syria, then we have Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Now, not only this, the formation of Hezbollah represent the Israel-Palestine rivalry, the formation of Hezbollah can also be traced back to another rivalry that we see, that is between the followers of Shiite Islam and the Sunni Islam. That is largely the Sunni Islam is led by Saudi Arabia, while the Shiite Islam is led by the Iran. Thus, if we talk about Iran side, we have two major countries, that is Iran, Iraq, and there has been tussle over Syria, and then we have the Hezbollah in Lebanon. On the other hand, if we talk about the Sunni faction, it is Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, and then we have Egypt. While other nations claim themselves to be non-aligned in nature. For example, Israel is non-aligned in this case. Now, what happens? Iran and its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps provided funds and trainings to the budding militia, that is Hezbollah, and that has continuously increased the overall strength of Hezbollah in both economic, both as a political power as well as a military power. So, what is the significance of Hezbollah? Now, we know that Hezbollah solely exists for the opposition to the Israel and the Western influence in the region of West Asia. However, at the same time, it has also, along with Russia and Iran, supported the regime of Bashar al-Assad, who is the president in the neighboring Syria when the civil war started in Syria back in 2010. And we can say it is still a kind of ongoing conflict. Now, it is during this time, it became more visible in the Lebanese politics as well in the mid 2000s, and currently we talk about the political participation of Hezbollah group, it holds almost 13 of the country's 128 member parliament. Along with its allies, it is part of the ruling government as of now. However, in the recent times, due to the situations of growing unemployment, there has been large-scale government debt and the prevalence of poverty. Recent years, there has been protest against its work in the Lebanon, with all these issues that has been worsening continuously. So let us try to understand also what is the strength of Hezbollah as far as its military presence is concerned, military prowess is concerned. So Israel and Hezbollah, first of all, they have fought a war before also. It was in year 2006, over a month, and have often exchanged fire since then. The party's arsenal is comprised primarily of a small man-portable unguided artillery rockets, and although these devices are not precision guided munitions, the problem is that they have such a huge number of such kind of weapons that it make them effective weapons of terror, especially when it is launched over a civilian population, over a civilian region. And thus Israeli has estimated the number to be 15,000 rockets and missiles on the eve of 2006 war, and since then continuously it is alleged by the many countries, many intelligence agencies, that Iran has continuously funded and increased the support of Hezbollah, and currently it is believed that they possess a total rocket force of almost 130,000 round, which if we talk about the size of Israel, which is a very, very small state, if Hezbollah start to have a war or continues start to have a direct attack on Israel, could cause a lot of human casualty, which will obviously comprise of a lot of civilian casualties as well. Now, the question that rises, that can Hezbollah or will Hezbollah participate along with Hamas against the Israel, and will it give rise to a third Intifada? Now, if we try to understand the word Intifada, it is an Arabic word that basically means to shake off, to have a kind of, it has a kind of what we can say, a revolutionary kind of connotation. And first of all, it came into popular uses in the month of December 1987, with Palestinians using it to describe their uprising against the Israeli presence in the West Bank and Gaza. The motivation of Hamas are related to it, opposing the greater engagement between the Israel and other West Asian government in recent years. Few days back, I also had made a video that how Israel is trying to normalize its relationship with many Arab states such as Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and thus many experts believe that this attack of Hamas against the Israel is also a message to normalization of relationship, or against the normalization of relationship between Israel and the Arab states. If we try to understand about this, we can understand that there has been a significant development considering the fact that most of them lacked diplomatic relations with Israel earlier, and now they are trying to have some sort of diplomatic relationship with Israel. And it has these goals that Hamas has in common with Hezbollah, which is much better equipped to fight. That means, since Hezbollah, we can understand, is nothing but a proxy of Iran, Iran will never want the ties between Israel and Arab states to normalize, and thus Hezbollah can participate in this attack or in this war along with the Hamas from Palestinian side. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you understood about what is the organization Hezbollah, what are its aims, objectives, and what is the threat that Middle East region can face in the coming times. That is all for this video. Thank you very much.